We know a lot about context and how having the right context for your ad in television can drive increased consumer interest. Think about sports advertising, because sports is one of the places where TV networks have seen the greatest impact from advertisers adjusting their advertising to take advantage of that context. What we said at the ARF is, look, understanding what we know historically in television, how do we take that and apply the same science and rigor to understanding what goes on in digital, and also fill in some gaps? Because one of the things that a lot of the television learning has focused on is quote unquote upper funnel metrics, awareness, purchase intent. It never really drilled down to actual ROAS or ROI. And we had the opportunity with digital to really get down to that level.
Just to give you an idea, if you were not here last morning on the MCOE University, we covered a little bit about how lift is put together, sales lift, and the ROAS metrics. So we collect the exposure data, in this case digital primarily, through a set of onboarders. Obviously those cookies and devices get converted to households. Those households are matched to our loyalty card data, so we know who is exposed and what they actually purchased at the household level. What we find is that high level, the hypothesis holds. You can see attention as well as both for sales lift index and ROI index, and attention is on the y-axis, the alignment is on the x-axis. You can see generally the higher the attention and higher the alignment, it indexes much better in terms of sales lift as well as ROI.
What does context mean for Viacom?
Viacom's core demographic skews younger, and so we're increasingly aware of the fact that the content that we're producing needs to get distributed on new and sort of innovative platforms, which have different sort of ad formats and different targeting capabilities and measurement capabilities. So having said all of that, linear television still is the mainstay of what makes Viacom money. So the content that gets produced is the high budget, sort of high impact content is still TV, which then gets repurposed for sort of other platforms. And then every now and then you have offshoots on other platforms that are sort of custom made for things like Pinterest or Facebook or what have you.
More than anything, when you think about contextually driven advertising in the context of social, you have to think about less about the purity of the content adjacencies and more about the sheer fact that you're stitching together moments of partial attention. You're not. It's much less immersive in the sense you've almost always got half an eye on your social networks, half an eye in the room, right? So you're essentially weaving together these little moments and hoping to put them together in a way that's meaningful. And that's really tough. It's tough for content creators, and it's very, very tough for consumers to synthesize and to actually be moved by it. So in many ways, I think the demands on creative are really intense. And then of course you've got that intrinsic war, which is, how do we prove that context is worth more than just pure reach?